Hello, mates. Welcome back to CatholicReligionTeacher.com. Today, I want to speak with you about two posters that I have in the front of my classroom that I talk about and reference all the time. They're right here. First one, go deep, and the second one, connect wide. Connected to these posters are also these posters. The first one is no vanilla answers, and the other one is called This Is More Like It. These Go Deep and Connect Wide posters came about a couple years ago after I was just kind of struggling to get students to really go beyond the basics in class. So, there's some questions, for instance, I'm giving a test later today, some questions that are kind of just simple, what is the answer here? And it is one answer. There's questions like that, but there's also questions that you want to see, really, how can you bring this and synthesize this with other things we talked about? How can you connect some of these dots? And especially in religion class, how can you take all this theology and how can you then apply it to your life in a real practical and some relevant ways? So on the back of this test, for instance, I will almost always have a theologian's challenge question. And so then with that, I've got my Go Deep and Connect Wide reminders. So students know I'm expecting you to not just give like a quick, brief answer. I'm expecting you not to spend forever writing necessarily, but I'm expecting you to think as deeply as you can about this and to make as many connections to other things as you can. So before I go into more details, I will provide digital versions of both of these in the link below. So if you click on that link, you can download these, and then you'll also be able to edit them as you see fit. So I'll do that with both these Go Deep and Connect Wide and also the No Vanilla Answers, and This Is More Like It. But the Go Deep poster. So to explain, the picture that I edited on here is a scuba diver scuba diving for some treasure. So in class, I talk a lot about how there's Catholic treasure all over the place. It's in relationships, it's at Mass, of course, it's in songs you listen to that are on the radio, it's in books you're reading, it's in just the day-to-day kind of life. There's Catholic treasure kind of buried everywhere. And so I tell students, of course, if you want to go deep, sometimes you gotta spend a little more time, and it's a little trickier to swim down below and find some treasure. And so it's not always easy. It's not just kind of surface level swimming. It's all right. I might need to invest myself a little bit more in this assignment or in this test question because I really want to pull out some Catholic treasure that nobody else has found yet before. And so I love talking about answers that students have on tests and sharing some of those with my students. So in the past, one of my students mentioned this I say like I had never even thought about that personally myself, and I just was blown away by it. So I tell students, impress me, impress each other by going deeper than anybody's gone before, finding some treasure that maybe nobody's uncovered before. The connect wide then, two main categories. I say connect this to your own life. So again, how does this apply to your life? Don't just leave the theology stuff up in your head. Make the long journey down to your heart as well. And then connect to other things that you've learned. So I'll say, connect it to other units we've talked about, connect it to other things within this unit, connect it to quotes that we maybe reference in class, connected to a different saint's life, connected to other subjects you've learned about. Bring it all together as best you can. And with those two posters, Go Deep and Connect Wide, at the beginning of the year, I do some practice with it. So at our school, we are a standard-based grading school, so it's not A, B, C, D, F anymore. We are on exceeds the standard, meets the standard, partially meets the standard, or does not meet the standard. So I go through a bunch of examples with students based on a silly question. The question is, what is your favorite food? And I give my answers for it. And so like my first example answer is dessert. And I say, all right, students, is that a does not meet or partially meets or exceeds? And they all say, well, it's a partially meets. And I say, no, it's not. It's a does not meet. Because what does that tell you? Dessert. Dessert's a gigantic category. There's a million things you can choose from. So we kind of walk through steps like that. I eventually will bring them to my real answer, which the meats answer is a cookie jar blizzard from Dairy Queen, which is fudge, cookie dough, and Oreo all blended up together in the perfect combination. So that's kind of my meets the standard example, but I give other partially meets and does not meet examples to kind of trick the students a little bit. And then I give them an exceeds version. And so I say, how can I go deep and connect wide with this? And then I talk about other places you can get ice cream. So I talk about McDonald's has McFlurries, but they don't have cookie dough, which is unfortunate. And their ice cream doesn't taste as good. Talk about grocery stores where you can get a bucket of cookie dough ice cream. And that's okay, but usually there's not a lot of cookie dough pieces in there, and so on. I go deeper and I say, to make the perfect cookie jar blizzard, you should go and ask for double the cookie dough and double the Oreo. And so that's kind of another go deeper. Like, you wouldn't know that unless I explain more about it. And I also explain I'm very picky and I really like my cookie jar blizzards to be like a great consistency and a nice coldness yet. So I will sometimes, and this is where students are like, oh my gosh, Mr. Aitchison, you are crazy about this. And I say, yeah, I kind of like desserts a lot. And yeah, I like desserts a lot. I don't do it all the time, but when I do, I make sure I get the best I can get. So I say, if I really want the best cookie jar blizzard ever, A, ask for double the cookie dough, double the Oreo, and B, bring a little cooler with you with some ice in it. So especially if it's a summer day, you can put it in there and get home, and it's still a nice consistency when you eat it. And instead of like it's starting to kind of turn into a soup. I can't stand that when my ice cream is soupy. So I go through all these details and I show them the big answer with all that info. And so of course kids are like, oh, that's what it means to go deep. That's what it means to connect wide, to talk about other things and bring them in together, and so on. I will then typically show students another very long answer, and students are like, oh my gosh, you're exceeding the standard, you're going deep and connecting wide. And I say, let's read the answer. And then we read it, and it's the most like kindergarten level answer, but just repeated over and over again in different words. And so there's nothing new to it. There's nothing beyond the basics. And so I tell students, just writing a lot doesn't mean you're going deep and connecting wide. You actually have to go deep and connect wide. And you can do that much more succinctly than spending forever writing. So students kind of get the point that writing a lot doesn't guarantee you're doing this. And that's very helpful. Also, let's see here. I then, of course, I turn it over to my students, and I ask them another question. I say, please share with your table partner your answer to this at a does not meet level, a partially meets level, a meets level, and an exceeds level. And the question is something like, what's something you really enjoy doing? Or what's something you really wish you can go leave school right now and go do for the rest of the day? And students have a fun time doing that, but they definitely get it by the end. So at the beginning of 7th grade, when I first had my students, I kind of drill this into them. What does it mean to go deep and connect wide? And once they get this, it's awesome, because from there on out, they know what I mean, and they know it's not just kind of a basic level answer, that this is the chance to really connect things and go deeper than maybe they even thought they could. The no vanilla answers is just kind of an extra cherry on the top, I guess you could say, of saying like anybody can give these basic answers, and I see a lot of these kind of boring answers all the time, but that I want a good answer, and that everybody that's created by God is unique and unrepeatable. We're all different, and because of that, we can all make different kinds of Sundays like that. And so whatever answers you get should be unique and unrepeatable, because you are unique and unrepeatable, so your answers should be different than everybody else's, especially about this religion stuff where you're applying it to your life. So that's Go Deep and Connect Wide. Again, I've got some lesson plan info in the link below. You can also download these visuals if you want to use them yourself and edit them and use them in your own classroom. So everybody, let's go deep. Let's connect wide. God bless you. Be safe.